I am Dave Henning with Fresh Start Podcast, fresh ideas for business and personal growth. Today, my guest is David Angel from Southampton, the UK. Did I say that right?
You
Southampton?
did. You did.
Close. Very good. Thank you for being with me. And David is a sales coach, sales trainer. He's got a lot of great ideas for us today that he's going to share, and a virtual platform that we're going to talk about. But first, David, let me just dive in a little bit to your background. Welcome, by the way. So thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you had great results in sales at some point, but you also had the flashy cars, the Rolex watches, the multiple successful companies. Then what happened?
Well, thanks for having me. It's good to be here. Great to be having a nice little chat, Ben, which is always nice. So if we go back early years, I was never a great student. So school years, I think a lot of people don't resonate with school. Either they're teaching you stuff that's not relevant to what you think you're interested in, or they don't teach it in a way that you're interested in. So I came out of school, didn't have all the qualifications, but was never bothered. And I went through loads of things. I was quite great at being a chef, so I did that for years, run restaurants. And then in my early 20s, I got bored of it and wanted to come out of that. Now, if you come out of something and you don't have any experience, one thing you can always get a job in is sales. Now, sales wasn't something which I actually took naturally to. If you look at one of my earliest jobs in sales was a door-to-door job. Going around knocking on doors, offering services, these type of things. And if out of all the guys I'd go out in groups with, the top performers would get, say, 5, 6 deals. I'd pull in 2. And I could never understand why, because I worked hard. I put the effort in. I wasn't getting the results. And it just made me realise there was something being said or something being done different to what I was doing. So I latched onto the guys that were doing great, which if I think any smart person does, and wanted to follow those traits of success. And when we look now at anything, success leaves clues. So I latched onto these guys and follow them. I'd be, listen, can I come with you for a couple of hours? I don't even want to talk. I'll just stand, because obviously this is doing door to door. So we weren't going into people's houses or anything. So I just wanted to be able to be in the background. Some houses I stand around the side, so they didn't even know I was there. And just listen to what they were saying different. And suddenly you realise little things make a massive difference. So then I worked out I need to become a good student. So then I studied and I learned and I read books and I listened to podcasts and done events. And ended up, things were great. So I'm hitting the numbers, had my own businesses, had a bar. Life's amazing. But what I didn't do was control my mental state. And after a while, I think I probably had more success than I probably would have prepared myself for. And then the partying happens. And with the partying lifestyle, you end up with friends that like the same thing, and it goes more and more and more. And over time, it takes damaging effect on things. You don't work as hard, you miss up, you slip up. To the extent, after a few years of really hitting it hard, what I thought was having my best life, I didn't notice the little damages that were being made, and I ended up with losing everything. So I had the house, the cars, the watches, the holidays, to being at the extent that I literally was living in a car. Everything was gone. So the downfall from it was not keeping an eye on the little things I was doing, but I was also quite blind to what I was doing. So then I'm stuck. I'm without money coming in, business is ruined, everything I've got's lost. And then it got to the stage of rebuilding. And that's when I got to the stage that I got back into sales. And jumping back into any sales role at that point, if you've had any degree of success and you come out of it, it's like riding a bike. You come into it. So if you go into a business and you've got a lot of good sales experience, suddenly you come in and month 1, you're top of the board. So then like, well, teach everyone else how to do this. And it becomes something which I really resonated even more with. I've been training people for years, but not realised how much I enjoyed it. And then it got to the stage where things are going great. I'm training people. Then another company wanted me to go and train. But as you'll know, as someone who's training, one of the big problems is you're needed there every day. So if you're not having someone there teaching people every day, then as a coach, you can only train one place at one time. And someone said to me, I need 2 of you. And he said, why don't you just get all this and put it online? And I was like, why not? So fast forward, and I've created an online platform that's got 390 videos now, about 24 hours worth of content. So if you do 15 minutes a day, it'll take you about 5 months to get through. And this teaches everything I've learned over 20 years, from high ticket sales, door to door, objection handling, and everything in between. And that's where we're at today.
Yeah, I confess I've been sneaking a peek at your YouTube channel and videos and stuff.
Right.
And your Facebook page. What I noticed was very specific, very on target for what people are doing wrong, what people are doing right, and if you're comfortable with me kind of hitting the pause button here and just reflecting on how all of what you described about the basically what I call a crash and burn kind of a situation in between renewed success, if we could say it that way. I'm with you when it comes to education and school. You know, learning is good, but it's got to be the right focus. It's not a piece of paper on the wall.
Otherwise, you won't apply it. We can teach you stuff, but if you don't see the benefit, you're not going to put the effort into consistently and properly execute on it. You're just going to do the basics to get through, and the basics for anything's no good, is it?
So, how long did it take you? You mentioned in your profile that you actually in this process you went through a breakdown and some chemical abuse. So I get that. A lot of us been there, done that kind of thing. So emotionally, in your process of breaking through to a renewed life, really, did that take a long time for you, or what happened?
But the problem is, I think a lot of people associate things like addiction, mental illness. We're at a stage now where it's talked about a lot more, and it's fantastic to see. But there's a big difference between people that I could manage to be a functioning alcoholic or drug user, because if you're talking about things like cocaine and stuff like that, people can function, but it has damaging effects over time. And a little bit, one of the big things I teach a lot about at the moment is, if you look at it like when someone starts in a job, you get the best version of them, and then every day we lose 1%, and then suddenly a month later we've lost 30% of that person. And it happens the same with things like drink, drugs, and effort, because you're waking up hungover, or you're tired, or if you haven't slept at all, you lose these little parts of yourself. And like with anyone, if you haven't seen someone for 3 months, they see a difference in you because they see the 30% change. People that are around you every day don't see the 1%. So I was functioning with it, and it just got a little bit worse. And by the time I realized how bad things were, because I was a bit delusional to it all, at that point it's too late and you can't fix it. And I got to the stage, but lost everything. Now I've got 2 kids. Now, just for the record, I never used to party or do stuff around my kids. I used to see them every other weekend. So I just had that time where I had nothing else going on. So then I'm at the stage where the mental breakdown has happened. I don't want to be on the planet anymore. I'm done with it all. I don't see a future. You don't see your value. Your self-worth's gone. But you get to the stage as well that you just get through it. Like unfortunately, 2 things. You don't or you do. And luckily I did. And for me, doing it for my kids, and I realized from quite a way through it, I will do more for other people than I do for myself. And I wouldn't do the stuff which you never want to do in your life because of the impact on my kids. So that kept me going. Then it got to the stage of building day by day, week by week, and working on myself. And the coaching actually saved me, to be frank, because I'll do more for other people that I don't know or that I do know, and I'll put more effort in. So if I get up today and I'm in a crap mood and I didn't want to do it, but someone else is relying on me to be there. Someone else has entrusted me with with them hard-earned money to be their coach. It makes you shake it off, because you're like, even if you don't do it for yourself, the self-loathing, hide and hurt and shut, If you know that person needs you on the phone at 9 a.m. and they need you on your best game and they deserve it and you know what they put into it. So then you do it for that person. So the coaching actually saves me as well, because I'm in a great place now, but by doing the positive actions and the positive steps every day for other people, help me rebuild my own life.
Yeah, so you mentioned the word self-loathing, which, lack of self-respect. Did you come to a point along that journey where you just said, I just have to forgive myself?
Do you know, it's a really interesting one. Yes, I did. And then it got reaffirmed about 13 months ago. I read a book called The 4 Agreements. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. And this book changed my perspective on things. And for anyone who's gone through anything out there where you doubt yourself, you find you're going through the same thing over and over again, whether that's guilt, self-doubt, beating yourself up over stuff that happened years ago, letting other people beat you up over stuff that happened years ago. A really, really good book. And it resonated with me. It might not resonate the same with everyone else, but it resonated with me. And sometimes hearing something in the right way, which resonates with us, will have an impact that's lasting. And for me, that was one of the things that really helped me, because then I heard it with different ears, for want of a better word. And I heard it in the way, but I was like, yeah. Now, everyone talks about the whole fake it till you make it. I'm not a big believer in that with the Lambos and all the other stuff. But if you doubt yourself, you should fake it till you make it. Like, just even if you don't believe in yourself now, act as if you do. Even if you don't like yourself now, talk to yourself like you do. Because if you do those habits and you do fake it for long enough and pretend to believe in yourself, it will work over time. And you've just got to keep going. And eventually, those little coals will stay with you and your belief will go up, your self-worth will go up. And with that, everything else will change as well.
So what I hear you saying is mindset is really important. I want to write the name of that book down again. The 4 what?
The 4 Agreements. I can actually show you what it looks like, because the cover is an awful looking cover. And this is the book.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have seen that.
And it's Don Miguel Ruiz who wrote it. It's not a massive book. But it really resonated with me. And I think with anything out there, this might be made by someone else in a very similar way or worded differently. But the way this was worded just hit. And for me, it changed. So it gave me lasting power, or lasting so far. We don't know where we'll be in another year. But right now, things are amazing. Right now, things are great. Right now, my mindset's good. And I think a lot of the time out there, so if you don't have a good circle around you, if you are at the stage of your life but you don't have people that are there to support you or back you or help you or guide you, or even worse, you've got people that are damaging you, just because you don't have a direct friend to help you doesn't mean there's not help out there. You look on YouTube now. I'm not saying necessarily just watch a motivational video, but if you're going to intake something anyway, you've got a choice. Watch. In the UK, they've got a program called EastEnders, which is one of these soaps, like a TV series, which on the same road, everyone's died at some point. There's the worst disasters. Like, there's nothing positive. Like, they'll have a wedding once a year or something to compensate. If you're going to watch something every day, make sure that what you're taking in, there's some goodness in it. If you're sad, doing sad things doesn't help. Like, if you're depressed but you like listening to love songs, that's great if they're good love songs. And if they're ones about misery and sadness and depression, it's not going to help. And now I like singing. But if I'm in a down mood, I will put on sad music, because you choose some music to almost copy your mood. You ever had it when you're in a bad mood and someone tries to make you laugh and you can get grumpy because you're almost like, I'm in my bad mood, leave me alone, I'm in a bad mood, I don't want to be happy. Right? And as soon as we laugh, it changes and it comes out. So we've got to shake out of that thing.
So my favorite sad song would be Van Halen, Right Now.
Right? And this is the thing. They're good. And if you're in a good place, listen to a sad song, it's nice because you enjoy the sadness. You enjoy the song. Because it's an emotional thing, isn't it, a song? It takes us on an emotional journey. But if you're in a bad place, that is not helping you.
Right.
And we're all guilty of it. But I think sometimes we want to through that. I think sometimes we have that thing where we want to feel bad for ourselves and we want to feel down on ourselves. It's because it's quite absorbing, but there's a point where it has to stop.
Yeah.
And we have, and a lot of the time we're waiting on outside influences to stop it from. And if we can get to the stage, and the one thing I have now, because of the change in mindset I've had over the years, the change in what I do, the change in my structure, change has to happen. So for me now, I don't drink. So I drink non-alcoholic beers. Now, if you told me 5 years ago I was drinking, I would have bet my life it wouldn't happen. But if I know that, for example, drinking isn't going to help me on the path I want, I have a choice. Go on the old path that didn't work, or do new actions. And I think a lot of the time we want new results by doing the old actions. We wonder why it doesn't work. We've got to do new actions to get the new results. And that's going to involve other things. It's going to involve being uncomfortable. It's going to involve us doing stuff we haven't done before. It might involve us having to change our friendship groups. It might involve us having to do new things or having so many things. And I think as soon as we get to that stage, we expect these new things to be comfortable, and they're not. But they're not going to be because we've never done them before. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've shared this story before on another podcast with some of my people I've interviewed. My process from being in the studio as a disc jockey by myself alone. I was comfortable talking to 500,000 people in the morning, but for me to get out of that room and go into the sales office scared the you-know-what right out of me. And it just took a mental transition to get over that fear and just the fear of change and my lack of comfort level took a process. And but I overcame that fear, ironically enough. And
again, but it's for repetition, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I'm not great with heights. I can watch on a film when they look over the top of a building. That makes me feel dizzy. I know it's on a TV screen, and it makes me feel dizzy.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I've also done a skydive. Now, ironically, so I done a skydive, and the free falling was my favourite part. Don't know why. Maybe I'm just screwed. When they pulled the parachute, and I'm on a tandem, so I've got the guy behind me, and we're coming down. When I'm hanging from the parachute thing, coming down, I was more scared than I was free falling, because I was scared I was going to fall out of the thing. Free falling, there was so much going on. There was so much adrenaline, you don't get a chance to think about it. Right. So I wasn't scared. When I'm coming down and it's suddenly slowed down and I'm dangling with a parachute, the adrenaline's slowing down. You start having a chance to think about what could go wrong.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But you didn't break any legs, I take it.
No, I enjoyed it. It was good. It was good. I've had kids since then, so I don't know if it's a good idea now. But as soon as you have kids, you just start thinking differently. I think, what if? Again, I would like to do it. I would like to do one. But I think it's funny with stuff. Because you talk about the fear, and with that skydive, I'm strapped to someone else. So he chose when we got out of the plane, and he was like, "We're going to go on free." And so you got your arms crossed, and he went 1, 2, and we went. Now, there's a big difference between that and me sitting there and me choosing when I leave. I don't know if I jump out on my own. He tricked me because he was like, "We'll go on free," and we went 1, 2, and we were gone. So I don't know with it if I did another one whether I need that push. Yeah. But I need someone to get the. And I think, like we say with coaching, once people have made a decision to get a coach, that's what the coach is there for. They're there to be there to support you, but also to help you kickstart stuff, to take action, to be accountable. And I think that makes a massive difference.
To actually mentally jump out of the plane, basically, is what I hear you saying.
Literally.
Yeah. So I got a quote from you here. Let me read this. This is a cool picture you put up here. In these times, there has never been a stronger reason to have the skills saw, I like that, sharpened every day to ensure the highest conversion in sales and commission. Like yourself, I found out that I could do, been in sales basically for years and years and years of all kinds of sales things. But and it's a big but. there needs to be some guidance, and you've got it on your sales network. Let's talk more about let's transition right into that. Let's get in, take a deep dive in here. How can you help people? I mean, if I'm hearing you, you can help people in any type of sales profession, correct?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think anything of any significance happens in the world without a sale taking place in business. I can't name a business that doesn't need some degree of sales. Now, a lot of people don't like to say that they're a salesperson, but that's because they're their association with sales and selling. But selling done right can massively change everything. And it's mindset, it's communication, it's tricks and hacks and whatever you want to call it to get through it. But the main reason is the product isn't really the thing. The industry isn't really a thing. It's more about the person in front of you and facilitating the needs or fixing the problems that they've got. And the problem is a lot of time, people in sales, for example, turn around and I sell plants. So all they're doing is go, plant, buy my plant. This is the best plant. This is the plant. You need the plant. And we're all used to having that. But actually, when you take a backward step and you look at what you're trying to achieve, having a process in place to know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it doesn't really change for the product. You're working out and identifying problems. You're building trust. You're asking great questions. You're overcoming hurdles. You're having logistically a planning process in place. How to communicate with people, how to contact them. Now, yes, there are changes if you're doing door-to-door or low ticket or high ticket or face-to-face or phone, but they all have a foundation that's in there. And a lot of the time, people are so, especially for entrepreneurs or small business owners, if they're wearing a lot of hats, if they're doing the admin, the prospecting, the closing, all the stuff that goes on, they're so eager to get the business, they actually alienate a lot of the people that are out there because they come over salesy. But actually, you just need to have a process and know where you are. I might talk to a lot of people about the difference on sales and marketing. And having a sales process and a marketing process, although they have very similar areas, there's a very different impact that both have. If you're looking and knowing what you're doing and when makes a big difference. If you're marketing to someone, you're talking to the masses and trying to show what you do, more talking to appealing to the interest of the subconscious. With the sales process, you're talking to the conscious brain about a need, a requirement, and trying to overcome hurdles that might be in the way. And I think a lot of people are just try to attack it all head on. Because especially if you're an entrepreneur, if you've built a business or you've got a product or you've created something and you've spent years developing it and now you've got the perfect thing, you want to be like, look at my product, it's amazing, get it. And the hard thing to realize is no one cares. No one cares how much effort went into your product. They care how it will help them.
I call it the radio station WIIFM. What's in it for me?
Yeah, exactly.
So you've developed a sales network. It's a fully interactive training platform. Based on what I saw on your really excellent Facebook page, by the way, is
thank you.
You've what I call you've chunked it down into bite-sized pieces, because the sales process can be overwhelming, especially to people who, here's how it was when I first got into radio and I had to transition at these various stations to get in the sales department. Okay, boy, here's the new rate card for this month. Go get them, Tiger. And that was it. And when the little guy from Los Angeles that flew into Kansas City, him and his brother-in-law owned the largest chain of radio stations privately held in America at that time. And he takes us out to Steak and Ale, a famous restaurant. I don't even know if they're around anymore. Buys us lunch. He's got his little George Burns cigar in his mouth, and he says, and here's his entire pitch, his entire training was, you want more sales? See more people. And that was it. Just go talk to people. Doesn't matter what you say or how you say it. But I mean, that is so old school. I mean, it is in essence necessary that you fill your funnel, as it were, with enough people. But never.
It's a piece of the puzzle. It's definitely a piece. When I first started before and I did phone sales, there was a guy that I would talk to, and if you asked him a question, all he would say would literally, shut up, get on the phone. Just shut up and get on the phone. Because when you break it down, as I'm more experienced now, he might not want to know how to say things in a more eloquent way, but also he's saying it's not going to help by being off the phone. Like, you're not going to gain experience by being off the phone. You're not going to make more mistakes. And a lot of it's learning by doing. And now you can learn by doing, but you can actually learn prior to it and know the methodology behind the sales, the science of how and why to say it, why to do this here, why not to do that there. And when we realize that, it makes a lot more sense. When people talk about things like scripts and pitches, I understand why a lot of people don't like the idea of it. No one likes to talk to someone who sounds scripted. But at the same time, we've all been to a cinema and we've all watched a movie. And no one turns around and goes, oh, I hate Robert De Niro because he used a script in that film. No, he delivered it amazingly and it was perfected. But we've also watched a bad film that's got a script, and it's about the delivery and what goes on behind the scenes that we don't realise. So, yeah, that's the idea, is to help bring people to Robert De Niro level.
How's Bobby doing these days, by the way? Yeah. Wow, this is amazing. So, boy, I'm speaking with David Angel, by the way, from Southamton, UK. And I'm so grateful to have you as my guest. And let's see if we can unpack just a little bit more here before we wrap things up. So first of all, how can people get a hold of you? How can they access your service and basically explore it and opt in and make use of it? Where do we take them?
So I'm pretty easy to find. Instagram. I'm a big believer in giving to prove it. I think there's a lot of people out there that can talk a good game and do it once on a pitch or on one video or one flashy Facebook ad. I believe in giving a lot away. So I've done ebooks and I've got videos out there where you can find. So on Instagram or Facebook, I think we'll probably put a link on here. Just go on to and search David Angel, TSN. So DAVID. ANGEL TSN for the Sales Network. And there you'll find a load of videos. I'm pretty much uploading content every day, which will give you little ideas on what to do. I don't think anyone wants to jump into something without having a bit of data to go off. So that'll give people an idea. And then when people are ready, I used to charge sort of £150 for sort of a 1 hour strategy call, when now I'm actually giving that away so people can jump on a phone, get more specific, and then really work out if I'm a good fit for them. Because not everyone's going to like everyone. Secondly, the sort of thing I can bring to the table. And third, how it can get implemented into either your business or even if you're just a standalone entrepreneur, how it can help you. The good thing with the sales network is it works really well for teams or for single users, because what happens is, when you log into the platform, it's all interactive videos. It asks you questions, and they're broken down from 2 minutes to some are 15 minutes long. And they're all in, I think it's 21 different courses in there. And so, like I said earlier, about 390 videos, I think. So say if you've got a team of guys, one's good at prospecting but bad at closing, but one's good at closing, one bad at prospecting, they can go on and go to each section which is relevant to them, which makes it a lot easier. So say I've got a guy at the moment I'm talking to who he's a sales trainer at a company and there's 20 sales guys. They've all got different experience. So whilst he does his meetings and his day-to-day training, this will work as a tool for them. So each person can have their own login, they can do their own training, and then he can bring it all together. So it acts like a bit of a glue for a business. And for an entrepreneur, it'll work well, where if you've got a face-to-face meeting today, you can log on and do those videos in the morning. If you're struggling with your objection handling, you can jump onto that section. If you're trying to work out how to sell for the DMs, you can jump onto that section. So it means you've got a sales trainer or a coach in your pocket every day at your fingertips. Plus, I do one-on-one coaching as well. So there's really a lot in there for everyone, really.
And would this apply for, correct me if I'm wrong, things like direct sales, multi-level marketing, industrial sales, commercial
all
sales?
over the place. So because the processes are similar, and especially if you're doing the one-on-one coaching. So I've got a number of people that are actually coaches that I help. Each problem you've got is different. In the same way that having kids, all kids are different, all behaviours are different, but actually parenting is parenting. It's going to tweak and change, and the way you talk to your kids and what you teach them might be different as they grow up and have different interests. So you might have to go through those. And it's very similar with that. So if you're looking at objection handling, which are being done on Messenger or face-to-face or in a meeting, yes, they're different, but the foundations are very similar, and I can show you on either side.
Excellent, excellent. My guest today is David Angel from across the pond. Let's just say, I don't know why people say across the pond. It's a pretty big pond. I can't believe that those ships, those sailboats, came over back and forth in the years past. Yeah, almost as exciting as skydiving, I suppose. So, David, thank you for being with me today, and make sure we get the. So we should check you out on Instagram for sure, on your YouTube channel, on the Sales Network, David Angel TSN.
Yeah, I was going to say on that before we do wrap up, on both on Instagram and Facebook. When you go on there's a link in the bio. If you click on there, it's a really cool little feature where it pops up and it will give you about 8 different options. There's a free ebook on there about mindset. You can access different videos. So if you're an entrepreneur, there's one for you. If it's a sales manager, there's one for you, where you can actually get a good little video on what I can do more specific for you before you even talk to me. So you can get on there and then just get in touch.
So click on your bio on your Facebook page.
Yeah, on either Facebook or Instagram. When you scroll down, there's a link on both. And you literally hit that link, it'll pop up and it'll give you a load of videos, a free ebook you can grab, loads of content on there for free.
That is excellent, my friend. Excellent. So outstanding. Thank you for being with me today. And I'm sure that we will be sending a lot of people your way, including myself. I'm always want to learn more and more about the sales profession. I'm still learning after all these years. Very important to stay open and really stay fresh. Would you agree?
100%, 100%. We've got to be learning.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, guys.